In the far reaches of space, where the boundaries between the known and the unknown blurred into the endless darkness of the cosmos, a small, unassuming station named Horizon had become the last hope for countless alien species. At the heart of this station, Adam Gray, a seasoned mechanic with an unyielding spirit, worked tirelessly to maintain the delicate balance that kept the fragile alliances in the galaxy intact. Horizon was not just a repair station. It was a symbol of humanity's ingenuity, resilience, and unparalleled expertise in a universe filled with technological wonders and threats. Alien species from across the galaxy brought their most advanced and complex ships to Horizon, not because they lacked the means to repair them, but because they knew that only humans, with their unique blend of creativity and determination, could solve the impossible problems they faced. The station buzzed with activity as ships from the Orion, Zarnian, and countless other species lined up, waiting for their turn in Horizon's repair bays. Each ship was a puzzle, a challenge that Adam and his team were eager to tackle, no matter how daunting. But on this particular day, as Adam pried open the hull of an Orion ship that had suffered severe damage in a skirmish with unknown assailants, he knew that something was different. The ship's circuitry was a tangled mess of exotic crystalline components, quantum computing cores, and self-healing nanopolymer alloys, technology far beyond humanity's current capabilities. Yet Adam's hands moved with practiced ease, his mind racing to decipher the alien tech. The Orion pilot, Varys, who had once looked down on humans as primitive creatures, now hovered anxiously nearby, his earlier arrogance replaced by desperation. They both knew that the stakes were high. If Adam couldn't repair the ship in time, Varys would miss a critical peace summit, and the fragile truce in the Orion sector would shatter, plunging the galaxy into chaos. Adam's voice, filled with a confidence he didn't entirely feel, cut through the tension. "Don't worry, Varys. I've never met a ship I couldn't fix." But as he delved deeper into the ship's systems, Adam realized that this was no ordinary repair job. The damage was extensive, and it seemed to have been caused by a deliberate act of sabotage. His mind raced as he considered the implications. Could this be part of a larger plot to discredit Horizon and humanity's growing influence in the galaxy? The thought was unsettling, but there was no time to dwell on it. The repair bay was soon flooded with distress calls from other Orion ships, all suffering from similar malfunctions. The probability of so many catastrophic failures occurring simultaneously was near zero, confirming Adam's suspicions of foul play. As the flood of crippled ships threatened to overwhelm Horizon's capacity, Adam knew he couldn't handle this alone. He quickly called for backup, his voice cutting through the chaos. "Jack, Mike, drop whatever you're doing and get your asses over here. We've got a Code Omega situation brewing." Jack Weaver, a wiry mechanic with a knack for jerry-rigging, and Mike Donovan, a burly ex-Marine turned wrench jockey, didn't need to be told twice. They arrived on the scene, their eyes scanning the damaged vessels with a mix of curiosity and concern. Jack was the first to notice something amiss. As he clambered into the guts of an Orion freighter, his experienced eye caught the telltale signs of deliberate sabotage. A fried control module with blackened scorch marks radiating from a central point. "Adam, get a load of this," Jack called out, holding up the destroyed component. "I'd bet my last credit this was sabotage. Somebody fried this thing remotely." Adam's suspicions were confirmed, and a cold certainty settled over him. This wasn't just a random series of malfunctions. This was an attack. A coordinated effort to sow chaos and undermine the fragile alliances that held the galaxy together. Meanwhile, Mike wrestled with the engines of a sleek Orion yacht, its curves screaming luxury and speed. The yacht's owner, a high-ranking Orion diplomat named Kor, hovered nearby, his tone a mix of condescension and frustration as he spoke. "Such a shame having to rely on humans for repairs," Kor sneered. "But I suppose even your kind has its uses." Mike bit his tongue, focusing on the task at hand, but Kor continued, his words taking on a sharper edge. "Of course, some in the Ascendancy believe your species is becoming a bit too influential for its own good. There are whispers that it may be time to remind you of your place." Mike's head snapped up, his eyes locking with Kor's. The diplomat blanched, realizing he had said too much. As Adam continued to grapple with Varys's ship, his efforts to repair the damage were repeatedly stymied by cascading system failures. It was as if the vessel had a mind of its own, actively resisting his attempts to fix it. "What the hell is with this ship?" Adam muttered under his breath, sweat beading on his brow. Suddenly, a distress call pierced through the chaos. A human freighter under attack by Orion raiders, its crew begging for aid. Adam hesitated, torn between his duty to Varys and the desperate pleas of his own kind. But there was no choice, not really. He couldn't abandon the freighter to its fate. "Varys, your ship's in no shape to fly, but it'll have to do," Adam said, his voice brooking no argument. "You're coming with me. We've got a freighter to save." Varys, stunned by the sudden turn of events, found himself strapped into the co-pilot seat as Adam gunned the ship's engines, sending it hurtling through the raiders' formation. The Orion ship, though damaged, still possessed formidable firepower, and Adam used it to devastating effect, disabling raider after raider with surgical precision. Varys watched in slack-jawed amazement, his preconceptions about human ability crumbling to dust. He had never seen anyone fly like that, let alone in a half-broken ship. As Adam brought the battered vessel back to Horizon, the magnitude of what had just happened began to sink in. He had just saved a freighter full of humans using an Orion ship, a ship that, if his suspicions were correct, had been deliberately sabotaged to fail when it was needed most. "Varys," Adam said slowly, piecing it together, "I think your own people set you up. They wanted your ship to break down, to make us look bad." Varys's eyes widened, the implications hitting him like a punch to the gut. Back on the station, Jack and Mike had uncovered a disturbing pattern in the stricken Orion ships. Each one bore signs of the same kind of sabotage, a coordinated effort to sow chaos and discord, and all roads seemed to lead back to a single faction within the Orion ascendancy. But before they could dig deeper, a shadow fell across Horizon as a massive Orion battlecruiser, its hull bristling with weaponry, hung in space like a great predator. "Attention, Horizon Station!" A cold, imperious voice boomed across the comm channels. "By order of the Orion Ascendancy, this facility is now under our control. Stand down and prepare to be boarded." Adam, Varys, Jack, and Mike stared at each other in shocked disbelief as heavily armed Orion troops poured from the battlecruiser, surging towards the station's airlocks like a tidal wave. The battle for Horizon had begun, and the fate of the station, and perhaps the entire human-Orion alliance, hung in the balance. The first Orion troops burst through Horizon's airlocks in a storm of plasma fire and shrapnel. Alarms blared as Adam, Jack, and Mike scrambled for cover behind a row of cargo containers. "We need weapons!" Jack yelled over the chaos. Adam's eyes darted around the hangar, spotting a rack of welding torches. "Improvise! Grab anything you can use!" The three mechanics dove for the tools, snatching up acetylene torches, plasma cutters, and magnetic clamps. Mike hefted a pneumatic bolt driver like a club. "It's not pretty, but it'll have to do," Adam said, igniting his torch with a hiss of blue flame. As Orion soldiers poured into the bay, a familiar voice rang out behind them. "Wait, I'm with you!" Adam spun to see Varys sprinting towards them, dodging blaster fire. "What the hell are you doing?" Adam shouted over the din. Varys skidded to a stop beside them, panting, choosing a side. "I know their tactics, their tech. I can help." Adam hesitated for a split second, then nodded. "All right, what have you got?" Varys pointed to the advancing Orion troops. "Their armor is weakest at the joints, and their sensors can't penetrate dense smoke." "Smoke, huh?" Mike grinned, grabbing a canister of oil. "I can work with that." As Mike rigged a makeshift smoke bomb, a towering Orion in ornate battle armor strode through the chaos, his voice booming through an amplifier. "I am Commander Zane of the Ascendancy. Surrender now, and your deaths will be quick." "Like hell," Adam muttered. He turned to his team. "We hold this line, no matter what." The humans and Varys dug in, unleashing a barrage of improvised weaponry as the Orion troops advanced. Jack's plasma cutter sliced through armor joints, Mike's smoke bombs disoriented entire squads, and Adam's torch became a deadly flamethrower. But for every Orion that fell, two more took their place. Zane's forces pushed relentlessly forward, their superior firepower slowly overwhelming the defenders. "We can't hold!" Jack shouted as a plasma bolt seared past his head. Adam gritted his teeth. Fall back to the main corridor. They retreated deeper into the station, Varys, providing cover fire with a captured Orion weapon. But Adam knew they were only delaying the inevitable. As they reached a junction, a desperate plan formed in Adam's mind. The sabotage ships, he said, breathless. We can use them. Use them how? Mike asked, panting as he reloaded his makeshift weapon. As bombs, Adam replied. Their power cores are already unstable. If we can trigger an overload. Varys's eyes widened in understanding. It could work, but we'd need to reach the docking bays. Adam nodded grimly. Jack, Mike, cover us. Varys, you're with me. The two sprinted for the docking bays as Jack and Mike laid down suppressing fire. They reached the damaged Orion vessels just as Zane's troops closed in for the kill. How long do you need? Varys asked, blasting away at the advancing soldiers. 30 seconds, Adam replied, his hands flying over the ship's systems as he rigged them to overload. We don't have 30 seconds, Varys muttered, his finger on the trigger. But they did, just barely. As the last connection was made, Adam slammed his hand on the remote detonator. The resulting explosion rocked the entire station, a wall of fire and debris tearing through the Orion ranks, scattering them like leaves in a storm. In the stunned silence that followed, a new voice crackled over the comms. This is Phalos, second in command of the Ascendancy forces. I wish to propose a truce. Adam exchanged weary glances with Varys. Why should we trust you? Because this conflict is pointless, Phalos replied. We're prepared to withdraw if you agree to share your repair techniques and establish a joint operation here. Varys translated the offer to Adam, whose mind raced. They were low on ammo, outnumbered, with mounting casualties. But could they really trust any Orion? We'll consider it, Adam said finally. But Zane goes. He's too dangerous to leave in command. There was a pause. Then Phalos's voice returned. Agreed. I'll handle Zane personally. As Phalos confronted his superior, tension crackled through the air. Adam and his team watched from their positions, hardly daring to breathe. Suddenly, Zane lashed out, his plasma rifle discharging wildly. The bolt struck a power conduit, triggering a massive explosion that engulfed the Orion commander. When the smoke cleared, Zane lay dead, and Phalos, though wounded, was calling for a ceasefire. Adam, Jack, Mike, and Varys emerged cautiously from cover, surveying the devastation. Horizon Station was battered and scarred but still standing. As medical teams rushed to treat the wounded, Adam couldn't shake a gnawing feeling in his gut. This wasn't over, not by a long shot. The battle for Horizon had only just begun. The dust had settled on Horizon Station, but the real work was just beginning. Adam stood before a mixed group of human mechanics and Orion technicians, their faces a mix of weariness and curiosity. All right, listen up, Adam called out, his voice echoing through the hangar. We've got a station to rebuild and a partnership to forge. It won't be easy, but we'll do it together. He gestured to Phalos, who nodded solemnly. Humans will maintain oversight, but we're integrating operations. That means learning from each other. The first few days were rough. Orion crew members bristled at human protocols, their frustration evident in clenched jaws and terse words. No, Adam sighed, watching an Orion fumble with a human-designed plasma cutter. Here, let me show you. He demonstrated the technique, his hands moving with practiced ease. The Orion's eyes widened as he saw the efficiency of the method. Across the hangar, Varys was explaining Orion propulsion systems to a group of human engineers, their excited chatter filling the air as they discovered new possibilities. Weeks passed, and slowly the tension eased. Adam's patience and willingness to listen won over even the most skeptical Orion. They began to see the humans not as primitives, but as ingenious problem solvers. One night, as Adam and Varys shared a meal in the mess hall, Mike burst in, his face pale. You need to see this, he said, slapping a datapad on the table. Adam scanned the decrypted Ascendancy communications, his blood running cold. They planned it all. The sabotage, the attacks. It was meant to provoke a war. Varys leaned in, his expression grim. And there are still cells out there, waiting to strike. Before they could discuss further, alarms blared throughout the station. A massive Orion Dreadnought had appeared on long range, sensors bearing down on Horizon with alarming speed. It's Brax, Varys spat, recognizing the ship's signature. He's come to finish what the Ascendancy started. Adam and Varys raced to the control room, barking orders as they went. Divert all power to shields. Prep every weapon we've got. They worked feverishly, modifying Horizon's defensive systems on the fly, human and Orion knowledge melding in a desperate bid for survival. As the Dreadnought closed in, Jack burst into the room, his eyes wide with fear. I found something, a flaw in the ship's design. We could use it to destroy it, but it would kill everyone on board. Adam's hands stilled. He looked at Varys, saw the same conflict in his friend's eyes. No, Adam said firmly. We find another way. The Dreadnought loomed ever closer, its weapons charging. Adam and Varys worked furiously, their fingers flying over consoles, voices raised in a mixture of human and Orion technical jargon. Suddenly, a new voice crackled over the comms. This is Phalos. Horizon Station, do you copy? A cheer went up as a fleet of loyalist Orion ships dropped out of FTL, surrounding Brax's Dreadnought. Now, Varys shouted, activating their jury-rigged defenses. A pulse of energy erupted from Horizon, momentarily disabling the Dreadnought's systems. In that instant, Phalos's ship struck, disabling the Dreadnought's engines and weapons. Varys, Phalos's voice came again. We need you to lead the boarding party. Without hesitation, Varys grabbed a plasma rifle and headed for the airlock. Adam caught his arm. Good luck, he said simply. Hours later, a battered but triumphant Varys returned, Brax in restraints behind him. As the immediate danger passed, the real work began anew. Human and Orion crews worked side by side, their combined knowledge unlocking technological marvels. Word spread quickly, and soon ships from across the galaxy were lining up, eager to experience the miracles of Horizon Station. Adam watched from the observation deck as a massive Zarnian cruiser docked, its captain practically salivating at the thought of human-Orion hybrid upgrades. Looks like we got our work cut out for us, Varys said, joining him at the window. Adam grinned, clapping his friend on the shoulder. Wouldn't have it any other way. Adam wiped the sweat from his brow as he stepped back from the hulking Gorgon freighter, its engines now purring contentedly. He glanced at the queue of ships stretching across Horizon's massive docking bay, each one a new puzzle waiting to be solved. Next, he called out, gesturing to a sleek vessel that had just limped into the station. The ship's hull gleamed despite the scorch marks and impact craters peppering its surface. Adam whistled low. Zarthan design. Rare to see one this far out. As the ship settled into the repair cradle, a hatch hissed open, and 3 tall, willowy aliens emerged, their iridescent skin shimmering under the bay lights. Welcome to Horizon, Adam said, approaching with an outstretched hand. I'm Adam Gray. What seems to be the trouble? The lead Zarnian hesitated before grasping Adam's hand. I am Zal. We encountered difficulties while exploring an uncharted region. Pirates. Adam nodded, circling the ship as his trained eye cataloged the damage. Plasma scoring on the port nacelles, microfractures along the hull plating, a coolant leak from the starboard thruster assembly. Nasty business, but nothing they couldn't handle. Varys, Jack, Mike, we've got a special project here, Adam called out as his team assembled. He led the Zarnian on a tour of their vessel's exterior, explaining the necessary repairs, but noticed that the aliens seemed distracted, exchanging furtive glances. Something else on your minds? Adam asked casually. Zal's posture stiffened. No, we simply wish for swift repairs so we may depart. Adam shrugged. Fair enough. Let's take a look inside, get a full diagnostic running. The moment Adam stepped into the ship's interior, his instincts prickled. The layout was off. Too many hidden compartments, too much wasted space for a simple explorer vessel. As Varys ran a systems check, a muffled thud echoed from deep within the ship. Adam's head snapped up, meeting Zal's panicked gaze. What was that? Adam asked quietly. Zal's companion shifted nervously. Nothing, faulty gravity plating, perhaps. Another thud, then a voice barely audible. Help us! In an instant, Adam had Zal pinned against the bulkhead. What's really going on here? Zal sagged in defeat. Please, we had no choice. A hidden panel slid open, revealing a group of haggard Zarnian huddled in a cramped compartment. Their leader, a female with fierce eyes, stepped forward. I am Loris, she said. We are refugees, fleeing persecution. Our government. They would see us dead for speaking the truth. Adam released Zal, his mind racing. He had heard whispers of unrest on Zarn, but nothing concrete. You lied to get access to Horizon, he stated flatly. Loris nodded. We feared you would turn us away otherwise. Please, we only seek repairs so we may reach sanctuary. Varys appeared at Adam's side, his voice low. This is against protocol. We should alert station security. Adam studied the fear etched on the refugees' faces. He thought of Earth's own turbulent history, of those who had stood up against injustice. No, he said finally. We help them. Varys's eyes widened. Adam, the risks. If it were humans fleeing oppression, Adam countered. Wouldn't we hope an alien race would show us the same compassion? A long moment passed before Varys nodded slowly. You're right. But we do this carefully. As they worked, Mike's curiosity got the better of him. He delved into the ship's quantum data vaults, his fingers flying across the interface. Holy, he breathed. Adam, you need to see this. The logs detailed a chilling plan, bioweapons designed for ethnic cleansing, targeting specific Zarnian subgroups. This is what we're fighting against, Loras said softly. If we can broadcast this evidence across Zarn, a proximity alarm blared, cutting her off. On the main view screen, a menacing vessel dropped out of hyperspace, overflowing with weapons and bearing Zarnian military markings. They found us, Zal whispered, terror in his eyes. Adam's mind raced. Jack, I need you to rig some hollow projectors. Make it look like their ship is still docked here. Mike, finish those repairs. Varys, prep for immediate launch. We've got minutes, people. As Zarnian troops began a systematic search of Horizon's docked vessels, Adam's team worked with frantic precision. Sweat beaded on Jack's forehead as he calibrated the holographic decoys, and Mike cursed under his breath, coaxing the last bit of power from the repaired systems. Now or never, Adam shouted as booted feet echoed down the corridor outside. The rebel ship's engines roared to life, Jack's hologram shimmering into place just as the real vessel slipped free of its docking clamps. They streaked past the Zarnian cruiser, already accelerating towards the jump point. They're powering weapons, Varys called out, but it was too late. The rebel ship vanished into hyperspace, its precious cargo of truth racing towards Zarn. Adam sagged against the nearest console, heart pounding. He knew this was only the beginning. Horizon had just taken its first steps onto a much larger stage, and the galaxy would never be the same. Adam stood at the viewport of Horizon Station, his eyes fixed on the endless stream of ships docking and departing. The once quiet outpost now hummed with constant activity, a testament to humanity's growing influence in the galaxy. Another request for ship upgrades, Varys said, handing Adam a datapad, this time from the Zox Confederation. Adam sighed, running a hand through his hair. We're at capacity. We can't keep up with demand. An idea struck him. He turned to Varys, a glint in his eye. What if we built something bigger? Much bigger. Weeks later, Adam found himself addressing the coalition leadership. He paced before the holographic display, gesturing to the blueprints of an immense structure. The Horizon Citadel, he announced. A mobile fortress, advanced shipyard, and cultural hub all in one. This is our chance to cement humanity's place as champions of progress and cooperation. After hours of debate and scrutiny, the project was greenlit. Adam wasted no time assembling his team. Varys, I need you as lead engineer. Your expertise with Orion tech will be crucial. The Orion's eyes widened. Me? But I'm not even human. Adam clasped his shoulder. Exactly. This isn't just a human endeavor, it's for all of us. He turned to Jack and Mike. Jack, you're heading weapons development. Mike, I want you overseeing all computer systems and cyber defense. The construction site buzzed with activity, swarms of automated drones ferrying materials harvested from nearby asteroids. Varys barked orders as massive hull segments were maneuvered into place. No, the power conduits need to be realigned, he gestured frantically to a team of human and Orion engineers. If we don't get this right, the whole grid could overload. Years passed, and the Citadel took shape, a breathtaking latticework of interconnected modules stretching for kilometers. At its heart lay the crown jewel, a shipyard unlike any the galaxy had ever seen. Adam watched as the first ship rolled off the assembly line, its sleek hull gleaming, a perfect fusion of human ingenuity and Orion technology. Beautiful, isn't she? A voice said behind him. Adam turned to see a Zarnian delegation led by their newly elected president. We'd like to commission an entire exploratory fleet, the president said, to map uncharted regions and seek out new civilizations. As human and Zarnian engineers pored over schematics, Adam felt a swell of pride. This was what he had dreamed of, different species working together, pushing the boundaries of what was possible. But with success came new challenges. Varys's voice crackled over the comm. Adam, we've got a situation. Orion insurgents attacking a supply convoy. Adam raced to the command center. Status? Varys's fingers flew over the controls. Orbital defense grid engaging. We've driven them off for now, but they'll be back. Meanwhile, Mike was knee-deep in code, his face illuminated by holographic displays. These cyber attacks are getting more sophisticated, he muttered. But they picked the wrong station to mess with. The threats kept coming, and Adam found himself in the bowels of the Citadel, confronting a group of alien saboteurs attempting to contaminate a new fuel system. Stand down, he ordered, weapon raised. This Citadel stands for peace. I won't let you destroy that! But the gravest danger came from within. Jack burst into Adam's office, his face pale. We've intercepted a transmission, Zarnian extremists. They're planning to release a biotoxin in the civilian sectors. Adam's blood ran cold. Assemble a team. We're going in. Hours later, Adam watched as Jack led a squad of Marines through the hydroponics district, his heart pounding as they closed in on the terrorists' location. Now! Jack's voice rang out, stun grenades flashing. In moments, it was over, the threat neutralized. In the aftermath, Adam stood before a sea of faces, human, Orion, Zarnian, and a dozen other species, all united under the Citadel's vast dome. Today we faced a test, he began, and we prevailed, not through strength of arms, but through the strength of our unity. This Citadel stands as a testament to what we can achieve together, and together we will face whatever challenges the galaxy throws our way. The crowd erupted in cheers, and as Adam looked out over the sea of diverse faces, he knew that despite the obstacles, the dream of interstellar cooperation was alive and thriving. The Horizon Citadel would continue to shine as a beacon of hope across the stars. Adam Gray stood at the command deck of the Horizon Citadel, his eyes fixed on the holographic display of an approaching vessel. The ship's cloaking technology was impressive, barely registering on their most advanced sensors. "Sir, the shuttle is requesting docking clearance," a young officer reported. Adam nodded, his brow furrowed. "Grant them access, but keep our security teams on high alert." As the mysterious craft glided into the docking bay, Adam made his way down to greet their unexpected visitor. The shuttle's sleek design was unlike anything he'd ever seen, its hull seeming to shimmer and shift under the bay's harsh lighting. With a soft hiss, the craft's airlock cycled open, and Adam's hand instinctively moved to his sidearm as a figure emerged. What he saw made him freeze in place. The being before him was pure energy, a swirling vortex of light and color contained within a vaguely humanoid form. Its voice, when it spoke, seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. "I am Harax, emissary of the Pandoran. We must speak with your council immediately." Adam swallowed hard, forcing his voice to remain steady. "Follow me." As they made their way through the Citadel's corridors, heads turned and conversations hushed. The air itself seemed to crackle with an otherworldly energy. In the council chambers, Varys, Jack, Mike, and the others waited, their faces showing a mix of awe and apprehension as Harax's radiant form filled the room. "Esteemed members of the Citadel," Harax began, its voice resonating through their very bones, "I bring grave news." The being's form shimmered, projecting images of devastation on a cosmic scale. Entire star systems winked out of existence in the blink of an eye. "A separatist faction has obtained weapons of unimaginable power," Harax continued,